am Brittany Sutton. I was diagnosed October 30th, 2024, and I'm still going through treatment, but things are going very well. Life before my diagnosis was very busy. I am a high school principal, and I've been doing that for 8 years. It is a crazy job with all that comes through having 2,200 children that we're trying to get to graduate on time, and all the athletics and activities. I also am a mother of 3 daughters. One is graduating from ASU next week. I have 2 16-year-old twins that are enjoying their junior year of high school. So life has been super busy with them prior to my diagnosis and even through. And I am a wife, actually, and I have an amazing husband, but we have a very busy life. He works evenings, so we try to balance, and so home life is crazy. And when you find out you have cancer, a lot of that, you're like, how am I going to manage all of those things? I also help take care of my mom. It's all the normal things. I love to cook. I love to clean, take care of my home and make sure that everything's good. I'm pretty type A. So imagine, all of that, and then you get handed kind of a thing that you wouldn't expect. So upon my diagnosis, it was pretty incredible, actually, because I was diagnosed on October 30th, and then my primary care doctor was the one that gave me the news, and within an hour, I received a call from Ironwood setting up my appointment with my oncologist, Dr. Iyengar. It was so fast, and your mind is crazy. It is really trying to figure out how to make sense of the world. And it was reassuring to be able to get things moving as quickly as possible. I had an appointment with her within a couple days, and she explained my diagnosis. She explained really what treatment could look like right out of the gate. She also got me set up with my surgeon, Dr. Vaidya, and also just gave me clarity, I think, and it was most important of what I needed, because you don't really understand cancer until it's in your face. And I think a lot of people tend to connect it right to the ultimate, end, as opposed to how do you live through, and how do you live through treatment, and how do you know all of the facets of treatment. So that was explained to me very well from the start. I'm kind of a nerd, and so I had my notebook and I was writing down my notes, but I put my questions down, and it just gave me some peace of mind. So from October 30th till I had my surgery on December 2nd, I had several appointments and tests and MRIs and PET scans and all of those things, but I had support and understanding along the way. Also, Dr. Iyengar's assistant was very communicative, which allowed me to also ask questions there, even if she wasn't available, which was super cool. The team at the offices that I was going to, just at the front desk, were always very kind. And then when I moved on to chemo, the head nurse called me and gave me all the information that I needed to understand what exactly that process was. I was going to have 2 different types of chemo. So there were things required for the second, but she went through all of that information. I had a call from a social worker. It was just incredible, the amount of resources that were made available. And that gave me a lot of peace of mind, because in that time, you're just living in kind of like a crazy cloud, and you just don't know which way is up. And having that support, and the fact that I didn't have to go find a plastic surgeon, and I didn't have to go find, these doctors. It was a team, and they talked to each other. And now, as I'm moving into radiation, my oncologist is now talking to the radiology oncologist, Dr. Miller. So I'm able to, I just met with him last week, and so I know that part of my plan. And it's all very clear. So I'm just grateful. So since I've been going through chemotherapy, I had 2 different types. So I had what's called AC chemo at the start for about 8 weeks. And then I moved into something called Taxol, which is every week on Fridays. And I have 2 treatments left, so I'm almost at the end. The way life has changed, you just have to learn to know there's going to be symptoms, and there's going to be things happening to your body, like, just the hair goes, there's some different things, your taste might not work the same. So there's some of those things happen. And what I tell myself and what my doctor has helped me understand is those are signs that it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's not fun, and trying to communicate that to my kids, to my students even, that the appearance of going through a cancer treatment sometimes looks worse than when you had cancer. And so facing that and making sure, people check on you and you just tell them you're okay. Like, the biggest thing that has been challenging for me is some fatigue. And so I have learned that my day, I'm a really early, crazy person. I get up at 4:15 every morning. I still work out. I still take time and get lunch together, and I cook on the weekends and try to meal prep, and just have, I go to work. I've been working full time since all of this. There's been a few days where just you don't feel well, and you need to know it's okay to take that time for you so you can heal and regroup if you need to, all of those things. But what I've learned through my day is I hit about 7 o'clock at night and I'm done. My body says no more. And so where I used to push myself, and I probably would have pushed through till 11 o'clock some days just because there's things to do, I've learned that I had to really pay attention to my body and balance, to make sure I'm taking care of myself, to make sure that I have that time to shut down my brain. So that's been the biggest change for me, but also just to listen to my body and to make phone calls because I am not typically go to the doctor kind of person. So I went from nothing to everything all at once. And when there's a weird symptom, or where I got some Taxol acne, which is a weird thing, but I waited until I had my chemo. They said, you should have called, because they could prescribe something. And that has been one of the things that has been amazing too, is that there's so many resources and strategies, and they're not necessarily all medicine, but different homeopathic things that you can be doing. And so the doctors and the nurses are really good about saying, no, take lion's mane, and that might help, prevent the neuropathy that I could get with my chemo. So, but that's the biggest change, is just fatigue and just learning to understand your body a lot better, because you're going through something that's pretty intense. And if you don't, you can wear out way faster, and you want to stay healthy. I've been very lucky that I have not had any illness through this. So I've been very careful, washing my hands, wearing a mask. The thing that I'm most proud of during treatment is being able to continue to feel productive, and to continue to feel joy, and to be able to still make a difference because that's, in education, that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to make sure we grow kids and we help them achieve their thing, their goals and their dreams and all of that. And the same thing for my own children. And so, in spite of having cancer and going through chemo and having a surgery, and now I'll be moving into radiation and all of those steps, but even with that happening, I was able to still go to work, still work full time, still go out to lunch duty, and the kids would come talk to me and ask me about what was going on. I was not somebody that openly promoted what was happening to me, but it was obvious that things were going on. So I even had a student that went around to all the teachers and had them write me this beautiful card. And it was huge, because he recognized that. And it was so cool, because you see people being amazing humans around you the way you wouldn't in a different way. So, it's not necessarily proud of me, but proud to see that, but I still could experience that. The other thing is, our school, we raise $10,000 every year for Make-A-Wish Foundation to help kids get their dreams when they have a diagnosis like this. And our assembly, we got to have the Wish Kid there, and it was just so proud that I could still be there and still be a part of such an amazing event, but also have the connection where I kind of understood more. And so you really learn that empathy, and you learn that not everybody shows what's going on in their life. And I think people start showing themselves differently to you when they see you going through something. So it's just been very cool to see, but very proud of myself that I kept moving on, and also that I could show up for my own kids, my students, my family, even though it's been a little hard sometimes. So there are days that are challenging, and for me, the hardest times were the times where I had way more time to think than you need. So like spring break, even though everybody's like, yes, spring break is amazing, that week off was hard because you're not as occupied. You can only watch so much Netflix, right? You go places, but like flu season was crazy this year. So you're trying to also not put yourself in, jeopardy where you might get sick. So it just being home and thinking. So at those times, the best thing I could do was surround myself with positive people. And there's so many of them in my life. It could be, just my kids and going and doing something with them, or hanging out with them, the family piece, talking to my mom, just letting, her understand. Sometimes you just have to say the things that are hard. And when you have somebody that's receptive, that can just say, it's okay, because you don't need the reassurance or people saying, oh, no, you're going to be fine. That's really hard, because you never know. Like that's the hard thing. Nobody ever knows, like even when you don't have a cancer diagnosis. So it's that, to me, it's the people that you make the connections with. The other thing that I found is every time I went and I had my port put in, or when I had my lumpectomy, somebody in that space, like a nurse, also has gone through the same type of thing that I had. It was kind of incredible. Like people do show themselves that you wouldn't recognize. And so hearing stories from people that have had this journey, even some of the teachers that I work with at my school, it helps motivate you as well to understand that you can keep going through it, and also that everybody's journey is different. That is something that I learned over and over again. Just because you see it on TikTok doesn't mean it's you. So getting to talk to people that really had those experiences, also people when you're getting chemo that are sitting next to you, have incredible stories, and they can be highly motivating. So surrounding yourself, though, with positive people, that to me was the best thing. So the biggest thing that I learned, and I think people should know, is one of the golden rule. People tell you not to go to the internet and not start searching and not looking for your own answers. Of course, I went straight to Google, right? Or straight to Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever it was, because they're going to put, little seeds in when they're going to do your surgery. What does that mean? So you try to find things, and then you start getting a lot of weird stuff back. And so my advice is to remember to take a lot of things with a grain of salt and talk to your doctors. I am an inquisitive person, so I do check things, but what happened is I started getting a lot of information that came to me that was very dramatic, and there's a lot of people out there on the internet that really want likes, and they want to make that money and be the influencer, and it is not really the real picture of what you see. Also, what you see on TV, Breaking Bad was a show that I watched, and it painted cancer in a really interesting, horrible way, and that's what I thought my life was going to be like, throwing up and being sick all the time. And I've been blessed that has not been anything with my journey. So everybody is different, and that's important to remember, but talk to your doctors and make sure you are really paying attention to yourself. And some of the noise out there can just be much more detrimental to your mental state and also to your physical state, because sometimes we see it and then we think it's us. That can happen. And so my advice is just talk to your team and make sure you're paying attention to yourself and treat yourself kind. Exercise, just moving, doing yoga for me has been so good, just to get my body going in the mornings. But whatever works, walking, just being a little bit more mobile instead of sitting and drinking water. Like, it's just the healthy things that you should be doing anyway, but paying more attention to those pieces have, it's been very good for me. I know everybody's different, but those are the things that I think made a difference so far in my journey. I would love to thank some incredible people in my life, my husband, Seth, my daughters, Sienna, Sage, and Sedona, who have been my backbone through this entire crazy part of my life. My mom, Laura, and my amazing staff and students at my school. And I also want to thank my care team, because you're incredible and you have inspired me to keep going and to keep living. And, cancer doesn't mean life is over. It's just a part of life. And you still learn amazing things about yourself and how resilient you can be, even when things can be hard or not ideal. But you can really find out how strong you are in spite of a lot of challenges. So thank you to everybody. I am blessed, and thank you for listening.